Imagine this. You've given your life to service. You've missed birthdays, anniversaries, and so many family moments you can't count. Finally, the one day you've waited for arrives, your child's graduation. You walk in, chest full of pride, ready to watch your son take the stage. But instead of a smile, you're met with two men standing in your way, and in front of 1,000 people, they tell you, you don't belong here. What would you do? Stay silent, walk away, or fight for your place? Subscribe and join our community. This is the story of Marcus Johnson, a Marine, a father, and a man who believed his son's graduation would be the happiest day of his life. Marcus wasn't the type to boast about his medals or his service. He was quiet, humble. To him, the real victory wasn't in the battles he'd fought overseas. It was in raising his son David. David had been through his own struggles. School hadn't been easy, but with hard work and determination, he rose to the top of his class. And now, this graduation was not just his achievement, it was a family's achievement. Marcus arrived early, invitation in hand, heart racing with excitement. Families filled the auditorium, clapping, laughing, taking pictures. For a moment, Marcus allowed himself to breathe. This was finally his moment to just be a dad. But as he stepped forward to find his seat, two guards stopped him. One held up a hand. "Sir, this section is reserved." Marcus calmly showed his invitation. "I'm here for my son, David Johnson. This is my seat." The guards exchanged looks. One of them muttered, almost dismissively, "Doesn't matter. You can't sit here. You don't belong." The words cut deeper than they realized. Marcus had faced bullets, storms, and nights in hostile territory. But here, in a room full of families, he was being told he didn't belong. Parents turned their heads. Students whispered. The humiliation sank in. Marcus's voice stayed calm. "With respect, I served this country for 20 years. I've bled for it. Today, I'm just a father. I belong here." But the guard's tone hardened. "Sir, step aside before we move you." It wasn't just about rules anymore. It was about something Marcus knew too well, being judged before being seen. He stood frozen, his pride and his pain wrestling inside him. And then, something shifted. Chairs scraped against the floor. 6 men stood up from across the room. Navy SEALs. Their presence was calm, steady, but undeniable. One of them spoke clearly, his voice carrying across the hall. "That man stays." The guards froze. The audience held its breath. Another SEAL added, his voice calm but sharp. "He's a Marine. He's family. You don't tell a man like that he doesn't belong." The tension thickened. Parents exchanged glances. Students leaned forward. Third SEAL stepped closer. "If he leaves, we leave. And you explain why 6 Navy SEALs walked out, because a Marine wasn't allowed to watch his son graduate." The guard's authority crumbled. And then from the stage came a voice that silenced everyone. "That's my father." It was David, standing tall in his cap and gown, his voice strong, his eyes burning. "He's the reason I'm here, the reason I never gave up. You don't. Ask a man like that to leave. You honor him." The entire hall erupted in applause. Parents rose to their feet. Some clapped with tears streaming down their faces. David stepped off the stage and walked straight into his father's arms. Marcus, a man who had carried the weight of war, finally felt the weight lift, because in that moment he wasn't just a Marine. He was a father. Respected, honored, seen. The ceremony continued, but no one forgot what happened that day. Marcus didn't walk out humiliated. He walked out celebrated, not just for his uniform, but for his sacrifice as a father. Because respect isn't about where you sit. It isn't about the section on a ticket. Respect is earned through sacrifice, through love, through standing tall when the world tries to push you down. So now I'll ask you, if you had been in that room, would you have stood up too? Because Silence protects injustice. But when even a few voices rise together, the coldest room can be filled with honor, with dignity, with respect, and maybe, just maybe, that's the lesson we all need to carry forward. If this story touched you, don't just watch, be part of the change. Hit subscribe and join our community of voices that matter.